Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Sarah here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Kate, and she's selling her Amazon Associates, affiliate, AdSense, and advertising business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Welcome to the show, Kate. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, great to have you here. I'm definitely looking forward to talking a bit more about your business. Before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. So this is an Amazon Associates, affiliate, AdSense, and advertising business in the travel niche, created in March 2014. The average monthly revenue of the business is $4,824, and it has an average of $4,628 per month in net profit, and that is based on a 12-month pricing period. Included in the sale of the business are domain and all site content and files, Amazon influencer storefront, an email list, social media accounts, 2 additional domains, an additional Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram account for one of the extra domains, and SOPs and an affiliate relationships. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 47594 to learn more about the business or to unlock the listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing. Now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's dig into the interview. So Kate, can you tell me a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Well, when I started the site, which was back in 2014, I had absolutely no experience at all. I'd never started a website. I began it as a bit of a hobby when we went traveling on a sort of one-way ticket. And after a few years, I managed to build the site up. Fairly quickly we started working with travel brands, and we were doing paid travel campaigns and etc. And, I managed to sort of get my head around it a little bit more a few years ago, and started to sort of target the site more towards, a focused business, looking at generating more passive income with less hands-on and freeing me up a little bit more to sort of do other things. And so over the years I've managed to sort of self-teach myself into building a business.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool to hear how you go from being a beginner to having this really just full-fledged business. That's really cool to hear. Now, I know you've got a couple different monetizations going on here as well. So can you walk me through how this business primarily makes money?
The main monetization is advertising and Amazon. And then there's also additional affiliates such as, bookings, tours, etc.
Okay. Well, on that note of you're talking about being a beginner, I'm wondering why you think that the models that you're working with here, you've got a couple different ones. Why do you think that they're good for those interested in online business and great for beginners hoping to get started?
I think the advertising definitely is perfect, because it's great passive income. You don't have to focus too much on that. The Amazon income, again, is quite good passive income. And, once you get your head around sort of targeting that marketing, that works really well, especially for a beginner. It's not that difficult. I probably struggled over the years with choosing the right affiliates to make money. And I think with the balance of the advertising and the Amazon affiliates, I've found that right balance.
Yeah, I think that's important. And you also have got something interesting here. So you have an Amazon influencer storefront. Can you walk me through, what that is and, how much you've been incorporating that into your business?
Okay, so that was an initiative that Amazon came out with a couple of years ago. So obviously targeting online influencers, and it enables us to have a storefront without having to have actual physical product, and it gives us a platform to be able to promote recommended products without, through social media quite easily, being able to direct people to our store rather than having to build, dedicated articles, etc. So it's just another avenue of being able to do sort of targeted affiliate marketing on Amazon, and the work of actually building those articles.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting asset that you have to this business. And it definitely ties into, this niche that you're working in the travel niche. I'm curious, like, why did you choose this niche? And, what kind of insight do you have for people hoping to get into the travel niche?
As I said, I started this site as a hobby when we were going traveling. So, it was pretty relevant for me at the time. And it was also so, it's something I'm still very passionate about. We still do a lot of travel. And, I think the beauty of it is that a lot of people that get into travel probably quite passionate about it. A travel site sort of gives you the opportunity to take it either way. People can use a site as a platform for a lifestyle, for example, which we did for a very long time. You can use that to support a travel lifestyle. You can have passive income. You can work with some incredible travel brands, get some incredible experiences along the way. Or you can take a more hands-off approach and say, well, look, I'm going to target it at this type of travel. And you can use content creators and contributors and things like that, and not so much, have a hands-on lifestyle with it. But yeah, I agree. It is quite competitive. There's a lot of angles to it. If you want to support a travel lifestyle, that's fantastic because you've got the passive income, you've got the ability to work with brands and things like that. If you don't want to be so hands-on and make it a lifestyle, you've got so many avenues to go down. You can look at all the different, you don't have to be doing destination guides or travel trips. You can be doing review style stuff, or you can be, really targeting that Amazon income by looking at product and things like that. So you do have a number of avenues that you could choose and the ones that suit you.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's really valuable perspective and definitely a new way of looking at it. So that's pretty cool. So moving on to a different subject here, why are you selling the business instead of, say, keeping it and growing it?
Well, I had this site for quite a number of years now, and over the years, I have developed some other hobbies and passions, and one of the main ones being photography. And it's something that I would really like to invest both more time and money into, and selling the site would enable me to do that.
Great. Well, I know we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but I want to open up the floor just in case you have anything to add. Would you say there's anything you learned from this business that you'd apply to future sites or businesses, or anything you found along the way that just seemed to really work for you?
If I had my time over, I definitely would have learnt a little bit more about SEO from the beginning. I spent way too much time mastering or trying to master every social media platform. But I think, if I was to do another site, I'd probably focus on, what I do well or what I have an affinity for and master those. So look at content creation and just focus on that and don't get blindsided by the shiny things. I would have monetized earlier as well and realized the value of having really good targeted affiliate posts because, I now realize how valuable they can be, especially in the travel industry, which is an area I think the site still has a huge amount of scope for.
Okay. Before we leave that topic, because I definitely want to talk about growth opportunities down the line, but, on the flip side of everything you learned and you found to really work, was there anything that you tried that, say, didn't work?
Yeah. In the early days, I just was spreading myself thin over too much social media or too many social media platforms rather than focusing on what was working for me. The other thing, and I think I sort of touched on that earlier, was looking at affiliates that work for you and ones that that you can market. I probably have over time, and I've really refined that recently, sort of took that approach of, I'll try that affiliate and you sprinkle them all through and hope that there'll be a return. And I just think I got a lot better at saying, well, that would work or that wouldn't work. And yes, I can market that really well on the site. So just fine-tuning that.
Yeah, I think that's very actionable advice for anyone listening and hoping to get into a similar space. So I want to make sure we're not missing that opportunity note. Could you tell me more about what are the major opportunities for growth with this business?
Oh, I think there's a lot, because there's a lot that I realize I haven't tapped into, and perhaps these are areas that I'm not particularly good at. One I'm working on at the moment is sort of diversifying my traffic and spending a lot more time and getting a lot more assistance on Pinterest. It's been a good traffic driver for me, but I know it could be better. So that's an area that I'm looking at expanding on. Email list, there's a huge potential there for an email list, and I know probably there's a lot of opportunities that I'm not tapping into. So, I think there's plenty of potential there as well. And also, like talking again about affiliates and fine-tuning those ones. I still think there's a lot of potential to optimize and to sort of fine-tune the affiliates on the site as well. So, yeah, I think there are areas that could definitely be expanded on. And, also there's paid, like Facebook ads, for example. I've tried to do them in the past, and to be honest, I'm just terrible at it. But, I've had situations where worked with brands and their marketing teams have done Facebook advertising, which has been, extremely successful. So, these are all areas that could be expanded on.
Okay. I feel bad because you've started touching on it there, and I'm going to have to make you backtrack just slightly. You're mentioning opportunities with social media and like adding an email list and things like that. But can you give me this high level view of what you're currently doing in terms of marketing and where a majority of your traffic is coming from?
The majority of the traffic is organic, which is great. Marketing, there's a lot of potential there to do more. Pinterest is probably the biggest marketing. The email list I have, it's quite automated. So that goes out once a week to the current subscribers with any new content. Facebook, so social media. But as I said, I haven't tapped into any sort of paid advertising or anything like that.
Okay, yeah. So ample room for growth and opportunity. So that's some good stuff. Now, of course, I want to make sure that we're covering this. Every business has risks. So I'm wondering, what would you think are the biggest risks with a business that a buyer should be aware of?
Well, obviously, there's always the Google gods.
Yeah, exactly.
We are, unfortunately, that's something that's out of our hands. And I think that comes back to what I was talking about earlier about diversifying my traffic, where I see that's an opportunity at the moment. So, through whether it's through Pinterest and email lists and things like that. So, these are probably the biggest risks. I mean, obviously, every industry or niche will have its, seasonal travel, especially is seasonal. I don't see that as a risk, but, every industry will have their ups and downs. But I think the biggest one is always going to be algorithms.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, can you tell me about just the amount and type of work you're doing on this business for maintenance?
Maintenance. At the moment, I work very times. Anyway, sort of 5 to 10 hours a week. I don't work every day, but, I'm doing just daily tasks, things like, obviously emails, checking stats, earnings, social media, quite basic social media at the moment. I outsource a lot of the writing, so I'm just proofreading, editing and uploading posts from content writers and guest post submissions as well. Doing just updating old content. I might write 1 to 2 posts a month myself. Basic keyword research and looking at article topics and things like that.
Okay. What kind of skills or requirements are there for someone not familiar with this niche or business model?
Well, I had none.
That's good. I think that's promising.
Well, it is. Obviously, I think an understanding of WordPress, but that's something that people will learn quite quickly. Yeah. I think a basic understanding of SEO is going to hold you in good stead. Some learning simple tools for social media, if you had no experience whatsoever in that area. But yeah, I think aside from learning WordPress and having a basic understanding of SEO, there's not a huge amount that you couldn't learn on the run.
Awesome. Okay. So just a couple wrap-up questions. How much support are you offering buyers?
Whatever's required. I'm open to helping somebody to, learn the site and to understand the niche.
Sure. All right. Would you commit to a non-compete?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you open to something like an earn-out?
That's something I could look at.
Okay. And a few personal questions. Is there anyone who inspired you while building this business that our listeners might like as well?
Oh, there's been lots of travel bloggers that obviously I would have aspired to over this time, but no one off the top of my head.
Okay. How about, did you say there's any software or tools, maybe even communities that helped you at the start of running this business?
There's some really great Facebook communities in the travel writing niche that are extremely helpful. So yes, and there's, some basic tools that I use. I use key search scheduling tools like Pinterest, using Tailwind. But yeah, I think there's definitely some really great groups on Facebook that would help anybody who is starting out to wade through and, learn the ropes, so to speak.
Okay, great. Well, how about this? What drove you and motivated you while having this business?
What drove me and motivated me. Because I started this as a hobby and it came out of something that I was quite passionate about, it's been enjoyable, It's an enjoyable thing to do. It's not a chore. I think most people like travel, don't they?
Yeah, you're like in the right niche. You're doing the right thing.
It's like, writing about chocolate cake. Most
exactly.
people. So, it's an enjoyable thing to do, So I think that keeps you really motivated. And I think once I changed my mindset of saying this is a hobby and I know that I can turn this around, make it a business, that really motivates you. So, I've got something that I enjoy doing. I've got something I enjoy writing about. And now I can make it a business. So, yeah, it's not that difficult.
That's so great to hear. Well, then, final question for you here, and one of my favorite ones. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
I think it was like what I was saying before. You can steer this either way. You can drive it to suit whatever your lifestyle goals are. If you have a dream of, supporting a travel lifestyle, you can use it for a platform for that. If you just have a dream of saying, well, I'd like something that I can, generate some passive income and it's a niche that's certainly, enjoyable, you can use it for that. So I think that's what makes it worthwhile. And it's got such diversity in the ways it can generate income. So it's going to be appealing to a lot of different people.
Absolutely. This is a fun one, and this is a really cool one. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the deal goes for you, and wishing you all the best in the process.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, glad to have you on here today. All right, for everyone listening out there, thanks for tuning in. To check out more details on this business or to unlock the listing, visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 47594. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. By unlocking the listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about the business and can start your due diligence. Until next time.